When you're negotiating, you need to build and maintain a rapport with the other party, and this means showing empathy for what's important for them. That, of course, starts with good listening, which we've covered in another video. But in this video, we're going to look at 5 steps that make for good empathic negotiation. Step 1. When they stop speaking, pause. Don't jump in to respond as quickly as possible, and for goodness sake, don't interrupt. That shows a complete lack of empathy. When they stop speaking, it's your turn. But take a moment to pause, to reflect on what you've heard, and to give the gift of silence. One of the impacts of that silence is it can sometimes encourage the other person to add a little bit more information. And that can be hugely valuable information because it wasn't what they initially intended to say. But even if they don't add anything, that silence says, what you said is important, I need to process it, and therefore I'm taking it seriously. And it also gives you that time to process what they've said and to plan your response. Because if you dive in with a pre-planned response, there's a good chance you'll get it wrong. Step 2 is to convey your understanding. And the most important thing here is to use some of the key words that they used. Don't reframe what they said into your own words straight away, because your words may mean something different to their words in their mind. The dictionary may say these words mean the same thing, but to them, the choice of words was important and the subtle difference means something to them. So show you've understood what they've said by using phrases like, I can see that you think that, I appreciate why you're saying, I understand that. Putting in their words allows them to get a sense that you really do understand what they've said and what it means to them. Next, it's time to make your response. And it's worth noting that sometimes your response is going to be contradictory to what they've said, challenging for them. In which case, you need to prepare the ground. To do that, diffuse the pressure by saying, I'm sorry that, and it's important to use I'm sorry that rather than I'm sorry but. What happens when we hear the word but is that we immediately forget everything that came before it, including the apology. I'm sorry that sets them up to understand that you're going to say something that might be challenging to them and prepares them for it. And if you are going to say something challenging, it's important to own your response. Use phrases like, I feel that, my assessment is that, I think that, so that it's clear that it is your perception. You're not trying to put words into what they said. If you use the words like, you said, and then do anything other than repeat what they actually said, you are manipulating the process, and that is bad negotiating, and it will certainly break empathy. Fourth, label your next step. I'd like to make a suggestion. Can I propose an idea? I have a question. There's a point I'd like to add to the conversation. This way they know the nature of what you're about to say, and they can prepare themselves mentally appropriately. Remember, here we're talking about building empathy, and empathy comes from a shared understanding of what's going on. And finally, step 5 is to make your point. What I suggest is, I'd like to propose, may I suggest, before we move on, can I ask, the point I want to make is, by following these 5 steps, you'll make the negotiation just a little bit smoother by maintaining rapport and building a sense of empathy, that you understand them, their problems, their concerns, their point of view. And that will make them feel more comfortable with you, And if it does genuinely build an understanding in you of what they're thinking, then you'll be better able to propose solutions and responses that will win their agreement as well as satisfying you. Please do give us a thumbs up if you like this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come, so please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.